Welcome back, everybody, to the Online Battle Podcast. Just here with Alex for now. I don't know where Dee Dee is. I don't know if she has the wrong time zone yet again. Who knows? But Alex, we will start with you. I kind of want to get your ups
Sure.
and downs. Who went up for you this past episode and who went down for you this past episode?
Um, I think Mike went up. I mean, there was no other place to go up really for him.
True.
I don't think he's still doing anything in terms of rekindling too many relationships, but I do think that he has a great plan to sort of at the end of the episode, he was like, I'm gonna pit, just two sides together, which is what people usually do when they're at the bottom. So I think that he goes up automatically because he survived being voted off and he did kind of make it with Fan Guy, so it's not really, there's no one coming actively for him now because he's like the number one enemy for everyone. Who went down? I'm gonna say Q went down, and I think Q actually made a lot of good moves because she was the only one saved, and she is sort of gaining trust with both sides, I guess. However, I guess I'm acting on the trailer alone, but also like in the episode, Kelsey did say something to Megan Dazed about how she trusts Q, which definitely raises some eyebrows. I don't know if Kelsey did it on purpose, but it's actually a great tactic, in my opinion, in terms of, just offering information. I mean, she didn't give any actual information. It was just like, oh, I also trust Q a little bit. So I think Q goes down simply because she is, I guess I could think of other people who went down as well, but Q strikes out for me in terms of she might be a target as someone goes after like actively within the next few rounds, probably even the next round. So yeah.
Well, let's start with Fan Guy and Mike because what did you think of Mike
Okay.
challenging Fan Guy to an elimination?
Um, I have a feeling that I feel like Mike is aware of his position in the game and he is amping it up. I hope I'm giving him the credit for it. Like, I don't know if that's actually the case of what's happening at the moment, but I feel like he's doing it on purpose where he's just like, you know what? I'm going to keep amping up this like villain sort of like role, right? Where he is opting to even go to elimination to try to beat Fan Guy himself. Um, I just think it gives him a purpose to stay in the game because everyone's like, okay, well, his mind is obsessed with Fan Guy and no one likes him anyway. I would rather start getting out people who people do like, So I think that what he said was actually pretty good. Like it just gives people a good sense of where he's actually at, which is the bottom, but wants to go after Fan Guy. And unless you're Fan Guy or you're Fan Guy's best, like number one, it don't matter to anyone else, like to keep Mike around. So I think he's playing that really well if he's doing it on purpose.
Now, the leaders were voted this round. It was Kelsey, Megan, Days. Days barely making it, but Kelsey and Meg were pretty voted for a lot. So, what were your thoughts on those three being voted the leader?
Honestly, I think I said it in the beginning. Like Kelsey is someone that could totally coast through in the beginning, and the same goes with Meg in terms of how they're perceived. I definitely like the fact that Meg Days and Kelsey are the leaders. I think that this will set actual sides now because what's funny was like these past few episodes, the survival people are like the ISOs are definitely playing together. And in reality, I don't even think that's actually true. Like they are definitely friends, but they're more than open to work with other people versus survival feeling like they already are pit against each other. They are much more working closer together than the other side. So I think it's going to be fun to see. Like they already started voting out all the ISOs into elimination rounds, so I do think that those three have a great week in the future in terms of how the sides are perceived. So yeah, I like the three of them.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about the Isolation people because they do kind of have each other's backs. Because I don't think they would
They
target each other.
do.
There's no formal alliance.
And that's what Kelsey said. I mean, they like each other, but they didn't form anything officially. So it is very funny that the other side is already like assuming that. And then in doing that, they're actually the ones who are solidifying an alliance versus, their perception of, oh, ISO's coming after us, Um, yeah, it's perception's reality. And if ISO keeps doing this, and not solidifying an alliance with themselves, or even like just start actually branching out, they could totally start dwindling down one by one. But I also think that won't happen because of what happens in this episode. I think ISO will start to catch on for sure. At least Delion will.
Now Aspen's in the bunker. I know you don't like the bunker, apparently.
I don't.
Even though
I mean, I don't hate it.
you like current Survivor seasons and they're like the most ridiculous twist ever. But how do you feel about Aspen being in the bunker, being able
To be fair,
to keep her?
I don't like the seasons with like extension or whatever. I don't even know what the other ones are called. But anyway, I am very surprised that Aspen got voted out or even lost first round. I do think that she's very strategic anyway, and I mean, it proved in the bunker she saved Fan Guy, who she wants to work with, and as well as knowing that he might be in danger. I think Aspen has a really great shot at coming back. I don't even know the rules of the bunker. Can one person come back from the bunker, or can multiple from the bunker come back?
Well, I'm not gonna say what happened yet, but I'm gonna say the original intent of the bunker before 3 people quit, really, because there were supposed to originally be 14 people. And then it came down to 11. It was supposed to be 2 different battle backs. So it was going to be like first 3 people voted out, there would be a battle back, one would come back. Then 3 more would be voted out, there would be a battle back, one would come out. That was supposed to happen because I wanted to have a double elimination, which really why I wanted people to come back. So now, if 2 people come back, there will still be a double elimination. But if only one comes back, then there's not enough people to do a double elimination.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I think Aspen is capable of coming back. I also don't know if she's the most like in it to win in terms of the games that you set up for the challenges. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do think that socially and strategically she's in the game. So I would love to see her come back. It does suck that she was the first to go, but I kind of expected a big-ish player to go. And since she was the only winner, I don't even know if everyone was aware of that, but she was the only winner in that group. So it's definitely interesting to see how it moves on. But what was the original
do you
question?
like her strategy of like she's choosing people on the survival alliance so she can make sure she's in the survival alliance that's kind of happening? Do you like that strategy from her?
Yeah, I think so, because I just feel like the survival people, I mean, if she did that and the survival people weren't really working together, then that's a bad move. But I think she kind of gathered that the survival people are one playing similarly to her because they all know how it kind of works. And 2, she is picking people who are willing to work with her versus random new people that she hasn't met. So if I was in the bunker, I probably would do the same in terms of finding people that I do know and trying to solidify something with them, just in case I come back, because there's no guarantee in any like circumstance, and I would not have wasted trying to meet new people who already voted you out. So I think it's a good strategy, especially Fan Guy too. Fan Guy has her back.
There came a point where Monai was stuck in a chat with the love triangle, she called it, between Fan Guy, Dazed, and Mike. Oh,
sauce.
Dee Dee has arrived.
The sauce, isosceles.
Is that the new triangle?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that does make sense.
Which one's Beth? It would be Dazed.
Dazed is Beth. Hello, Dee Dee.
Hi, I was asleep, y'all. I just woke up.
No, you're good. You're good.
I thought you were just gonna have the wrong time zone again, Dee Dee. I was like, I could swear I said your time.
In bold, I saw it.
Yes, in bold. Well, since you're just joining us now, I guess first I'll get your ups and downs. Who went up for you in this episode? Who went down?
Oh, I get my mind together. Okay. Up would be Mike, and down
Same.
would be Monet.
Right. Right.
I was actually just talking about Monet and her being stuck in the chat with Fanguy, Dazed, and Mike. I guess my question for you guys is, why do these games turn a little personal sometimes? Because there is a little personal back and forth between Fanguy and Mike in this chat.
I don't know.
I yeah, I just think that experience, like, okay, so if you're put in a group of people and half of them you don't know, and there's half of people you do know and you've had a pass with, and it's a similar game format, it's a similar thing, I feel like it's very human to just be like, okay, well, I experienced pretty badly with you, and even though I'm going to try to come here open-minded, there is still that bias of like, you are a fucking asshole or something like that, right? So the fact that Mike and Fanguy did not jive well together in the first season, it's just inevitable that it just carries through the second. But they are intense in the first, like, this is only the beginning, and they cannot, they can't just hide it a little longer. That's my question. My question is, why can't they like simmer it down? But maybe, I mean, maybe what they're doing is actually good because they're both not home, like they didn't go to the bunker today or in this round, so maybe it's working. I don't know.
Then there came a point where, and you both might know something about this, but I think Alex maybe more so, where Mike thinks he has Dot on his side. Dot is just playing all the angles right, but Dot is not on Mike's side like Mike thinks.
That's the thing. I personally know, like, I think in my season, my first talk with Dot was so great, and I was like feeling really great about it. And then I was like, well, you know what? Like, he's a very social guy and he talks to everybody the same way. I'm not going to say that he is on my side right then and there. Like, for me in my season, I was like, I'm not doing that just yet. I think that he's naturally such a great talker, and a very great first impression kind of guy. Kelsey had the same thought, and so did Mike. And I don't think that he has them both in his best interests, like right at the second, right? He just really gives all that great energy to make you believe that. But it's great editing that you had Dot explain that he is definitely not on his side, really. Especially when he votes Mike in, when he actually could have voted Delion in first. He could have decided that. So it's very, very interesting that he's able to do that. I'm wondering if Mike remembers that and like goes after him about it, because that conversation did seem like Dot was going to work with him, you know? So I don't know.
Didi, how are you feeling about Dot's game right now? Playing every angle he can.
That is just, I don't know. That is a hoe. He's a game hoe.
He really is.
That's all I
I
can
love
say.
it.
He's a game
I
hoe.
love it. I feel like he's a game hoe in terms of like it's actually so out in the open, but no one actually like catches on. Whereas other people are also hoes, like game hoes, but obviously they're not as, you know, they're like under the
Experience.
radar, like in both ways, and experience. Yeah, I feel like I do feel like Dai is really experienced in hoeing around game wise. I think it's a great strategy, and I really think that it could really work in his favor. He just has to be careful because, I mean, in the episode, Q kind of got exposed by Kelsey. You know, Kelsey kind of told Days and Meg about Q, and look where it's getting Q. So you got to be careful what you tell and who you tell and what exactly you reveal. And yeah, I mean, Dot has it better at the moment.
I will say though, Didi, of all the isolation people, it seems like Kelsey is also doing a good job of building relationships because she has a good relationship with Q, with Dot,
for sure,
with Days. So how are you feeling about her social game?
I think it's good. It's always been good. So no surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think could outdo the Dot strategy, Dot or Kelsey, Alex?
The Dot strategy specifically, it would be Dot because it's his strategy. But and if you're talking about like game hoeing around and being under the radar about it, I think Kelsey actually takes that because Dot is very talkative and Kelsey isn't. So I really appreciate the way Kelsey is able to do that. and not really give information. I mean, I don't think she's given one sense of like information to Dazed or Q to make them trust her, but I feel like they already do trust her, you know? So I think Kelsey would probably take the cake in terms of being like sort of sneaky.
Then Fan Guy comes up with this plan where he wants to go in as a team with Mike to go up against Dot and Q so that he can throw it and Mike could be gone. It was a well thought out plan, kind of, except for, Q ain't gonna go for that because Fan Guy's tangential to Q. But what are your
I just
thoughts
love
on the
Q.
plan?
Tangential, I know, me too. I love Q so much. I think Tangential should be the name of like the season. Online battle, Tangential. But Fan Guy, he's a smart guy, and he must have been thinking, this is my prediction, he was probably thinking that he might be going up with Mike in the same team. And he was like, how do I make sure that I'm not being sent home because Mike is outrightly being the villain and no one likes him. So other players might want to take out Fan Guy over Mike, right? So I feel like he thought of this elaborate plan and pitched to Dot to sort of cover his base and make sure that he isn't going home because he knows that Dot and Q would save him. It's a dumb plan for Q and Dot, but it's a pretty good plan for him. Dot was actually thinking, I think he was thinking about it, like, which is very shocking. He was like something about taking one for the team or like helping the team out. Like, very interesting because that really could have went the other way and Mike could have tried so hard like in this Family Feud game where he won, and then Dot or Q goes home, and that's not good for Dot. Like, how is that good for Dot? It's not, like, it's not even close. So yeah, like I don't think it's a great plan for the ones who are being the pawns, but it's a great plan for Fan Guy.
I do think it was well thought out. I do think the one thing that Fan Guy and other people in this alliance is that they really think Mike's working with the isolation people, or that they're working with Mike. Didi, why do you think they think that?
I don't know. Is it because
No
I guess
idea.
because he's not working with them? But it still doesn't make sense because he got into like an argument twice with Monet and Jillian.
Literally.
Like, that's a dumb thought. I think the whole no offense, I'm trying to be politically correct. I think the entire online survival team is just doing the fucking most. Like, they just need
Okay,
to
I
relax.
completely agree with you on that. I think that the survival players naturally are just more paranoid because of
Yeah.
like I feel like isolation didn't have in terms of like a possibility of backstabbing and then voting someone out. You know what I'm saying? And in survival, it's just like that is a really big aspect of it, is to like hide who you're voting for and then strike, you know? So it's like these online survival people are already doing the most, thinking the most of Mike being with ISO when ISO's not even together. Like, they're together, but they're not like officially together. They want to know the rest of the 5 other players. Like, don't like online survival. I definitely think they will implode because of this, because they are not building relationships. Whereas someone like, Dazed and Q and Fan Guy seem like they might. I feel like the core of survival, the alliance is probably Meg, Dot, and Dazed, but Dazed is still making connections. And that's the difference at the moment. I don't see Meg and Dot doing that successfully or like actually thinking of doing that. Dot has been entertaining it, but he was ready to jump on this ridiculous plan for him to possibly get voted out. So yeah, I hope they figure it out.
Yeah.
What were your overall thoughts on Q not wanting to do this plan? And I mean, why would she? Why would she want to save Fan Guy?
She's a badass, and she has a clear head.
Yeah.
What a dumbass! She's like, they're not sending my black ass out as a pawn. Like, who in the right mind would actually go for that? Like, yeah, Fan Guy's tangential.
Yeah, like, who the fuck are you?
I'm glad she shot that shit down. Like, I feel like some people might even have that thought, but actually go with it because everyone else is going for it. Like, some people are sort of like, they don't want to ruffle feathers. They want to go with the herd. Because I mean, sometimes that does do you well. It's never the best to like always stray from the pack. But for Q, like that is a dumb plan for her specifically, because I feel like if Dot and Q were up, like they were the losing team, they probably vote out Q, because they like Q probably has less connections technically, and Dot's just more like sociable. So I just feel like she would have been gone. So I'm glad she didn't take that.
Well, during the vote, Delia misses the vote this time. He does get voted in, but not first. They decide to vote Mike in first.
I like Mike. I like
I
Mike.
love Mike.
Like, so
He's
y'all
like,
about to keep that same energy.
he's like,
I
that's
like how
very
he
funny.
called him when he
You guys are
went.
hypocrites. He was like, you guys are
That
hypocrites.
was hypocritical, yes. That was very
I mean, it's completely true. One of my biggest pet peeves is hypocrites and like double standards. I absolutely hate it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't like case by case in terms of like voting someone out when they're not here. Like that's the obvious thing. Like if Treasure did that, you better.
I mean, I will say this round was different though, because they had to vote 2 people, and so they still voted in Delian.
They did, but they didn't even say, like, they didn't hint that they would actually vote out Delian. They were just like, well, I'm voting for Mike this round, this first round. Like it was just very funny and amusing to watch. I think Mike is hilarious. He's meant for this type of stuff. I love watching both Fanguy and Mike duke it out in terms of like wittiness and cattiness. Like they're the most catty people in the cast at this point.
Well, I like Mike. I don't like Fanguy. I wouldn't say I like Fanguy.
Understand. I think Fanguy's a little ruthless in the way he goes about it. Like it's almost like entitlement, like in terms of like just like I'm better than you, right? To Mike, like no one likes you, sort of thing. Like, have you seen Victorious? Like when they're in the van and Jay goes, "No one likes you." Like that's what I feel like Fanguy would be like, like for Mike. But yeah, I do appreciate like both of them in terms of how they're playing it. And I do think that Fanguy will work with Mike if he has to, and if he like ever comes to have to do it, he'll do it, you know?
Well, the leaders this round, they cannot nominate one person. Meg wants it to be Dot, but Kelsey wants it to be Q, and Meg and Days go along with it not being Q.
I guess it was like win-win, I guess, in a way.
Yeah, for survival too. It's really funny because like you would want, like if you're Days and Meg, you would want Dot or Q to not be nominated, right? But the fact that now Q is not nominated, they're like, fuck, is Q like playing both sides? Like everyone's doing that. Like everyone's trying to do that. They're covering the bases. I would not go for Q at this moment, at this current moment, but I don't know. That could be the case coming up.
Well, how about your thoughts on the phased alliance, Dazed and Fanguy?
Why? I don't.
They're each other's number ones.
That's dumb, but okay.
Why do you say
That's so
that?
Jed. Yo, Fanguy's Jed. I just realized.
Why?
They're like not good. They're not popular at the moment.
That's also true. That's also, but I will say I think Days and Fanguy will have really good like strategy within these weeks. I feel like, because I look at them as like people who will flip any situation around, right? So even though they're not really liked, I do see a possible strong power that they both will have together, in terms of flipping other people, in terms of making people distrust each other. They're both ruthless players, I think.
Then we also have Meg using Mike as an attack dog, really, which Mike realizes. And then we also have Mike and Fanguy saying they're going to get along. Can they get along?
No, but on a game level, yes.
If for how long?
Them,
I don't
see like 2 weeks, or two eliminations, like one elimination and they're back on each other or something like that. It's not like the final 2 together. That's not happening.
And then lastly, Aspen saves Fanguy from the bunker.
That surprised me.
Me too.
But
I don't like that.
I didn't either.
I was like, what? Fangai is so like, I mean, Aspen is so powerful right now. She's out
Yeah.
of the game and is able to create this huge. What if Fangai was the target? Like, what if Fangai was the nominee to go in? Like, that really just like
so
changed
that's some
everything
good TV.
crazy. Yeah, sure.
They messed up the whole plan.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, one, if people were smart enough, I feel like I would implode in that game. Like I actually would implode because I feel like every little decision that you make as a leader, as a voter, as someone from the bunker, like I'll take every single thing like, wow, they're working together. You know, like every single thing. Like Aspen Statement Fang, I'd be like, those two are so tight, we gotta separate them, or whatever the case is. So it's like this is just paranoia, like to the max. I don't know if anyone else in the game is doing that or feeling
Which I
that
mean,
way
shouldn't
at
they
this
already
moment.
think that because Fanga and Aspen were
Oh,
the
yeah.
final two of their season?
So I guess it doesn't really matter for them because Aspen already, yeah, that makes sense. I think it's smart on Aspen. Aspen did a really great job on doing that. It helps her game. He kind of owes her now.
I will say though, the bunker's not even half as powerful as the Void DD. It's really like
Not at all.
so. I think it's like the isolation people are used to challenges. The survival people aren't used to the Void / the bunker. So I don't really know if they know how to play the bunker / the Void.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Well, Monet and Treasure are voted in from the leaders. And we got Family Feud against Mike and DeLeon.
They upset me with those easy ass questions.
Yeah, why didn't you do Family Feud with us? I'm so pissed off. I was like, this is a
I
game
want to
that
beat everybody.
I would have gotten every single one right. I was playing, watching the challenge, and I was like, I got every single one besides the state one. I think I didn't get Colorado, but
I got that right too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You must like you some Family Feud, DD, do you?
All the time.
I love Family Feud too. I watched it all the time.
I want to go on it, but I have dumb relatives, so.
My mom tried to do the same thing, and I was like, we're not gonna do well. I was like, it's like we don't have the smartest relatives.
Mom, you're too slow.
We don't have the synergy for this. Like, I don't even think my mom could do it. So,
I guess should DeLeon have tried to throw the challenge?
I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, for DeLeon, he really should have. But there's not really. You can't do much. You could throw it. I don't think he did though. I don't think he.
No, he definitely didn't. But I was asking if he should have.
I think that if he really wanted Mike out, sure. But I also think that it's not really directly harmful to him if Mike stayed. Maybe it is. Because now Monet's gone. Or one of the two is gone. I honestly probably would have thrown. If it was two of my closest allies on the other side and I knew they would save me, I would pull a Jed and like throw it and hope for the best. So
DD, what about you?
No, I'm not gonna throw it for nobody. No. No. I'm here to win.
Well, Monet sacrifices herself so that Treasure can run.
For a split second, I thought she was gonna shade her. I thought for some reason I was like, I'm so used to Survivor. Well, I'm so used to Big Brother and Survivor and like all the reality shows where you're fighting for $1 million or whatever the case is. So when you're like desperate, you're gonna say some shit to try to. Because she was like, wait, don't vote yet. I was like, is she gonna start like? Is she gonna call Treasure out for no reason? Like, is she gonna do that shit? And then like halfway through, I was like, oh no, that's not even close to what she's doing.
I had a feeling she was gonna do that when she said, "Hold on."
She is such a Gemini. Like she came in blazing hot, got leader, and then was like, okay, I'm good. Dips out the next week. Oh man, I fell for her. I was like, Monet, don't think that like you also can still shine, like continue on, you know.
But you don't think it was a
Treasure was the better choice.
You think Treasure could get farther?
Yeah, I think Treasure would get farther. That's why I'm like, she's the better choice.
I agree, but then her saying that makes it a little different. Like her saying that Treasure, you can go farther, you have more potential, raises too many flags for me to be like, okay, well, she needs to go next or something, you know? So like, I think Monet had great intention, but she should have said it as if like, I'd rather see Treasure stay than like I already had my time to shine. Vote me out. She shouldn't have said the potential thing because honestly, she didn't even vote yet. So I would have, if I was leader, I'd be like, well, if she has that much potential, she's got to go. You know,
Potentially to the bunker.
yeah, potential to go home to start packing. So I'm really happy that Monet was so like selfless in that situation, but I think that it could have backfired like 100%. That would be pretty good TV actually. They'd be like, oh really? Like you think she has a better shot, then she gotta go. That would have been crazy.
Treasure has been showing out in these challenges. You got like 3 number 1 answers. Well,
yeah,
Monet helped with the Chick-fil-A because that was easy. I don't know how nobody else got Chick-fil-A. But
That's the first thing I said. I said Chick-fil-A. No, some damn
I can't
McDonald's.
believe Chick-fil-A is really good, but I can't believe. I thought DeLeon was throwing because he said Burger King. Because I'm like, no one likes Burger King. I mean, it's pretty big, but no one.
I love Burger King, but
no one prefer Burger King
I'm getting over most places.
over
McDonald's.
Really?
I don't like McDonald's. Not a big fan.
I don't like Burger King.
Go backwards. Wow.
That's why I thought DeLeon was throwing. I was like, yo, you're picking a trashy ass fast food to.
I mean, when he said Chipotle, favorite. Then I thought maybe he is actually throwing.
Oh yeah.
Nah, Chipotle is a fan favorite. It's just not Chipotle a fast food. Probably. Do you think Chipotle is even classified as a fast food?
I don't think of it as such, but I don't know. Maybe it is.
Does it have a fast food?
No, it doesn't.
I think it might in some places, maybe.
Oh, wherever I'm at, I never see any drive-thru.
I don't think the one here has a drive-thru.
I was surprised to see Sonic at number 2. I was like,
I was surprised at that too.
I didn't guess Sonic or Colorado. That was the only 2 that I didn't really understand. But
I didn't guess Colorado either. Like, who the fuck's want to go to Colorado? That's crazy.
I thought you said you did get Colorado.
No, I didn't get Colorado.
Oh, okay.
Colorado. I was like, what's in Colorado besides like the mountains and Denver?
Like, Denver Nuggets.
Weed.
And weed. Weed's actually the bigger thing now.
I guess that's what it is. But
there's so many people from Texas and Oklahoma here every day. It's crazy.
Why is Florida the first one? Like I didn't think that
Miami?
Yeah, but like I wouldn't have pegged it as number 1. I would have put like California or New York or even Nevada for Las Vegas, but I guess Miami.
I don't even like Florida, but I knew that was number
1. I mean, I do like Orlando, but I don't care about Florida that much.
Well, if we had to sacrifice one state on the United States, it would be Florida.
I would sacrifice a lot of other states besides Florida first.
Probably Texas.
I wouldn't sacrifice Texas. I would sacrifice like
look for Mexico.
A really like Wild West or like a really deep South. Wyoming.
Well, speaking of Texas,
sorry, Elizabeth.
We have a guest. Monet has arrived. I don't know if Aspen's coming. She might come as well. But we shall bring in the Gemini. What up, Monet?
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
How are you? How are y'all doing?
We were just talking about you.
Not
that way.
What's up? How's y'all's days going?
I just woke up. So.
Pretty good for me.
It be like that. It absolutely be like that.
Well, I don't know if Aspen is coming as well, but I'm gonna have you dish on the first 3 episodes without giving away spoilers, Monet. But I guess my first question is: you came into this game much different. Your other Gemini twin was out. How did you feel it all went with your Gemini twin these first couple rounds?
I don't really know. Like my Gemini twin, I'm not used to acting like that so early on. Usually I'm very shy and reserved before I join conversations, but this is so different. It was like, it like gave me a high. I don't know, like when you're not used to doing something and you do the opposite of how you would usually react, it gives you this kind of high. I don't know how else to explain it, but it felt good. It felt
I can
good.
understand that. You're basically acting almost like as an actor, you know, and you're playing a part.
I didn't know who the fuck that was.
That gives me a high all the
At
time.
all.
What'd you say?
Yeah, Didi didn't know
I
who
didn't know
Monai
who the
was.
fuck that was.
I never watched that season, but like I mean, you explained that it was not typical you, and I was like, I believe it. Like,
It did work though. It got you to be the first later, but people did notice you were acting differently. So, how do you think it went in other people's eyes so far?
Like how my personality was viewed in other people's eyes.
Yeah, like it was
Yeah.
different than what they saw in online isolation.
I mean, I would say a lot of people may have been like, okay, maybe Monai is acting differently because she was preoccupied with some other shit with the other season. So maybe now she actually has time to show us who she is, whereas previously her energy was all over the place. Now she can actually put it all into the game. That's one perspective. Another perspective is, okay, is this a tactic? I even saw use little confessionals, and she was like, maybe she's doing this to prove something. Maybe other people thought that as well.
I have a question. If you played for a third time, would you switch it up again? Like, would you do a whole different personality? Like, would you do a mixture of both? Would you go back to your first season? Like, what would you want to do? And what do you think works best? I think
that's a good question. I mean, it's a new year. Might as well be a new me. You know,
literally.
Literally, yes. Yep. That makes sense.
Well, I want to go back to when you said that you were coming in with biases with your online isolation people. And I feel like the online survival people were like, oh my God, they're all working together.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about. When DeLeon said that bias is a strong word, after I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, he's fucking right. Because how he explained it is how I felt. How he felt is how I felt. There are people in there who I already know. I already know their game tactics. Whereas other people who were there, I didn't know. Like, that's the kind of bias I was going in with. Of course, I'm open-minded. Everybody's gonna be lovable in my eyes, but I already know some people, so I'm gonna lean towards my comfort zone at the beginning.
That could have been a possible, like, that one sentence possibly could have sparked the other side, the survival side, to be like, they're working together.
It did make them paranoid.
Yeah, even though it's technically not like the actual case, like you guys didn't officially say anything, but it made them squirm. They were like, okay, we got to do something about it. And that's probably what happened with this episode.
Yeah, everybody started acting like Virgos.
Facts.
I don't understand.
We know, Tina, we know.
We get it.
Oh, man.
So I want to go to when you were leaders with Deleon and Mike and how much of a fiasco it ended up being. Walk us through that whole conversation with Mike and Deleon.
I mean, seeing other perspectives of it through the last episodes, I can't say Mike did try to stick to his word with the alliance he made with who he spoke with by not saying anybody's names, but he did put a really big target on Daisy's back whenever he was like, no, don't do that. I don't want to get on his bad side. And even now I'm confused as to why he wants to be on his good side. Like, they don't get along. It makes me still think that he's scared. Like, why are you scared, bro? That was my thought process. And DeLeon, I don't blame him for going through days, because if that were the reaction I would have gotten out of anybody, I'd still go with who I chose to.
I got a question on that. When y'all did like 2 arguments, full-on arguments, why did y'all still choose Fan Guy if y'all did all that for days?
It's for the tea, honey. It was
Oh,
just
It's
for the tea.
It's so good. What a
Oh,
good
wow.
tactic.
That's
I
funny.
actually laughed because you guys did spend, well, the edit took you guys like
That's what
10
it's like.
minutes. You guys were fighting, right? And it's like, I want to choose what I want to choose. And then at the end, it's like, Fan Guy.
I
It's
was
like,
like,
Yeah.
okay, you're going to choose Mike's choice anyway. But that's actually, I think, the smartest move you guys made because one, you guys did send Mike's target, but also now everyone's mad at Mike, like regardless. And Days is also someone that you want to take out now too. So I think you guys played that amazingly. I think DeLeon took a really good opportunity and was like, let me strike it right then and there. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to know from watching it back now, Monet, if there's anybody that you see differently watching it than when you were playing it so far.
Quite a few. Yeah.
Really?
One is Meg, because now that I know her a little more, she's a parent. A lot of parents are very observant. I would not have expected her to be that observant starting out. In fact, everybody who started out quiet, all of them actually got a lot of good hitting points with
Information.
all of us. I wouldn't
Yeah.
think that would have been the case. So that also leads into Q. Like she picked up on a lot of shit as well. Kelsey, I kind of think differently about her because when I was watching her thought process, whenever she chose who to throw into the elimination round, she chose to save Q over me because Q opened up to her about some juicy information. And that rubbed me the wrong way because in this game, I came in honest and upfront from the
Yeah.
start. Q
Yeah.
only started to do this after she saw how everybody else moved. So that
Yeah.
was a little shisty.
not
I will say,
shite.
Shiesty. I will say, I think what happened there, like Kelsey brought up both you. I think she said Monet and Q, right?
Meg
I
was
think she
not
said
gonna
your
agree
name
with me.
first. And I think what happened with that was Meg was like, okay, well, I hear someone in my alliance. Let me pick that out and try to make that the main focus. And her saying that I would be okay with Q doing it. And then she also gave reasons why Monet wouldn't be for her. Kelsey probably had more of a, well, if that's the case, I'd rather choose Q over Dot, you know? So that's what were we gonna say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's funny you mentioned that as well, because you made my train of thought go in another direction towards someone else who I'm looking at differently as well.
Okay.
DeLeon, it was me and Treasure versus him and Mike in the elimination round. And I remember him having a conversation with Treasure, and he said that he could throw the competition so that Mike would get out. At first, I thought that's what he was doing.
Chipotle and yeah. I was thinking the
But
same thing. We
then
were all
I
thinking
was
the same
like,
thing.
wait, hold up. Was DeLeon leading us into believing he was going to throw it? Because even Mike's facial expressions let him think that that was what was going on. But no, did he also see me or Treasure as a threat to actually put his all into the competition? That's a question that I can't wait to get answered.
Good question. Because I mean, we were just talking about it before he entered. Yeah, we were just talking about it. We were basically saying like we were wondering if it was best for him to throw it in that scenario. And I think it probably was the best for him to do that because he knows that you two would vote out Mike over him, you know? So the fact that he did try and won and then lost one of you guys, it would seem like it's not a good thing, but who knows if he's thinking that, or maybe he just like, I don't want to take any chances, you know?
He did say he was
point.
coming in with a clean slate, though. He was one of the ones that
Also
said
true. Also true.
Do you think you guys maybe the isolation people should have made a more formal alliance by this point, Monet? Because you guys have each other's backs, you say, but you haven't made like a real formal alliance.
Touche. Yeah, we should have done that.
Yeah.
That would have led to much prettier results.
Yeah.
Do you think you guys just naturally come off more passive from isolation games? I guess that's a question for Dee too, because you played survival.
More passive, you said?
Yeah, because the survival people are like so
they're
aggressive
freaking-
in everything they're doing.
In your face.
In paranoia and everything.
Yeah.
And then the isolation people are more slower
Laid
at
back.
doing things, I guess. Yeah.
I want to call
That's
it
a good question.
aggressive.
That's a good question. Maybe I'm thinking about it too hard, but I'm thinking about age differences. Like a lot of the isolation people who are in this game, we're a lot of Gen Z. We have different vibes than the people
Also
older.
true. Yeah.
So I'm thinking on that standpoint, of course we're more passive. It's because it's, I don't know, more fun. But I don't know, maybe age has something to do with it. That's my theory.
Good point.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, possibly. I'm Gen Z and I'm pretty aggressive in my strategy, so maybe not. But I can totally see when it's like a bunch of ISO together, and you guys are all younger versus like mothers and older people playing the game, and also playing a game where they know they need people to leave, right? So they have to like be kind of cutthroat about it. So that might play in a factor for sure. I would say ISO players did really well the first round. Like you guys got out Aspen, you guys got Mike, Days, Fanguy, all like topics, right? All people of like consideration for the next nomination. It's just the next week you guys, I guess, voted for. I don't know. You guys didn't vote enough ISO players, or maybe the survival players just voted strategically for who was leader. But Kelsey alone would not have been enough for that, you know.
Yeah.
So in this past episode, Monai, I guess, how did you just feel about this past episode altogether?
I'm thinking back to something Q said about Mike. No, not Mike. Fanguy, and how he gives off like a slimy vibe. And I thought about that statement while he was saying something that sounded a bit too good. How him and Mike should be on one team in elimination, and Dot and Q be on the team just so that Fanguy could throw the competition. But I wouldn't want to be volunteered as tribute to be put against them either, because let's say they're not good at all and Mike carries the team and they win.
Yeah.
A lot of things Mike says sounds really good. I don't know where his loyalty 100% lies. I know that Aspen can definitely depend on him the most, but everybody else who he's spitting to, I'm not sure. Same thing with Mike. They're both spitting a lot of game. I don't know which one will actually hold.
What about Dot? He was a little slimy in this episode as well. Mike thought he had Dot on his side, but Dot was like, nah.
That was okay.
Natural habitat.
Dot, for lack of a better analogy, he's my favorite villain right now. For lack of a better metaphor / analogy, I can't wait to see where he gets.
Who are the other villains that you see as villains?
Yeah. Name the other villains.
Yeah.
I know Mike is one of them. Fanguy, he's not much of one. Who else?
Is Days one? No.
I wouldn't even consider him a villain. I wouldn't really consider Q a villain. I wouldn't consider Meg a villain. Kelsey a villain.
Would you consider Delion? For these first two eliminations, how he played it.
That he could either be a villain or a superhero depending on how he wants to flip the coin. So yes, yes and no. I say maybe those three: Delion, Mike, and
Dot.
Dot. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, speaking of hero tactics, why did you sacrifice yourself for Treasure?
Well, for a few different reasons. One reason is so I could focus more on like world matters or like personal life matters. That's one thing. Another thing is because Treasure, she's usually quiet, she's usually reserved. I want to see how she'll flip this in her favor.
Right.
Another thing is that was a hard pick between me and her. I wouldn't feel right if I was chosen and she would have had to go home. I wouldn't have felt right. So I was just like, no, let me make the choice easier. Yeah.
What went wrong in the Family Feud elimination? Do you love yourself some paydays? That's what I want to know.
I love paydays. I love
I can't
paydays.
tell you
Ew.
how hard I
Not
cringed
popular candy.
when I heard myself say that. Oh Lord.
Yeah, what was going through your head? Like, was payday something that you think is popular?
For old people?
Because I feel like,
Oh.
I feel like only like old people. I mean, I like paydays, but I'm saying like, I do think the demographic isn't like young people or
Do you
anyone.
like paydays, Monai?
No,
You don't even like paydays?
the nerves were on me, okay? My anxiety was like, okay, payday, just say it. My brain was like, that doesn't make sense. My anxiety was like, no, say payday. Trust me. Lord.
That's funny.
I was surprised no one said Reese's yet. I was like, that is literally the most popular candy I've ever
I
heard in my
can't see
life.
why that's nasty.
I don't even like it that much, but it's everywhere. Like Reese's
I didn't think it was
everywhere.
gonna be number one. But
I can't believe I didn't
thought
say
it was wrong.
Reese's. I was eating Reese's through one of the
You
clips,
probably
bro. Lord.
Wow.
That's
I would've
hilarious.
killed it for
Well, I mean,
myself.
yeah, I wouldn't think of the circular candy as like a candy bar. I feel like that didn't process properly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know, like when you think of candy bars, you're like thinking, Twix.
Of
You said
bars.
Twix. Someone said Twix. I love
See,
Twix. Twix is
Nick?
my
I
favorite.
love
Nick,
Twix
I
is
need to
my
read it.
favorite. Twix, Milky Way, Kit Kat.
If you ever
all
play
great.
again, I'll make sure there's another Family Feud game so you get a.
Please, I love Family Feud.
Yes.
Well, now you're going to the bunker with Aspen.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Aspen at this point in the game before you went to the bunker?
I feel like we had a vibe. We had a connection because we both have girlfriends. She was like, "Hey, girlfriend gang," and I was like, "Okay, hey, girlfriend gang." So that's a connection, just like her connection with Die over her plants. I know it's surface level, but it's a good
No, it's
conversation
hilarious.
starter.
It's great. Yeah.
I felt pretty cool, cordial, and neutral with her.
I usually play a game, but I want to see if you guys have any more questions for Monai before I go to this game.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I think I've
can't
asked enough questions.
So Monai, I'm going to name the players. I want the first word that comes to mind when I talk about these said players.
Oh,
The very first word. I need your evil Gemini
spill the
twin
tea.
to be out.
Oh
for this
Lord.
game.
Your impulsive, anxious, like mind go. First thing you
Yes,
think
like
of.
payday. I want that to come to mind first.
Yeah, I want that type of response.
It's too soon.
I want your subconscious.
Oh my goodness.
We'll go ahead and start with Leo, who was short-lived in this game, unfortunately.
Shy. That's the first word that came to mind. Or
Which
shy.
is shocking.
Shy. Shocking.
How about fan guy?
Fake.
How about Aspen?
Cool.
How about DeLeon?
Crazy.
How about Kelsey?
Cool.
Treasure.
I don't know why weird came to mind. It's like a good weird. It's like the good
I love
weird,
that.
I promise.
How about Q?
Questionable.
How about Dot?
Weird.
How
Good or bad?
about
Good
yeah,
or
good or bad?
bad?
Weird?
we can't skip over that. You said weird,
Yeah,
good or bad? Because
specify,
you gave
please.
Treasure a good weird.
Bad weird. Because he's the villain. He's bad weird.
How about Meg?
Not skeptical, but what's an antonym for that, bro?
Paranoid?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about who am I forgetting, Dee? You're good at reminding me of whoever. I know one person I'm forgetting.
Dazed.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
dazed.
Did you say Mike?
I was gonna do Mike
That's who
last,
he was
but
waiting.
Dazed.
Yeah. So
Dazed. Calculated.
Mm.
And how about Mike?
Crazy. Definitely.
Is he crazier than Dylan? They're both counselors.
No.
They're both crazy. They're
Bro.
both crazy in different ways.
Yeah, they are both crazy in different ways. DeLeon is crazy, like the kind of crazy who you would want in your friend group.
Yeah, right.
Mike is the kind of crazy who you're like, I don't know how you're gonna act. He's unpredictably crazy.
Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Wow.
True.
That is true. He probably is pretty unpredictable at this point.
That's funny.
Well, any final thoughts on these first 3 episodes, Monai, that you'd like to talk about?
Meg is on it. In the first episode, she knew what was on and popping with Mike. And I'm like, girl,
Yeah.
that's one thing. She is on and popping. She may be paranoid, but so far her paranoia has been working in her
Has not
favor.
shown. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like,
Facts.
okay, so
Facts.
she gets it. That's pretty much the first thing that came to mind. Another thing is like, I wonder what's gonna happen with my favorite poly couple in there, fan guy Mike and Dave.
Oh my god.
I don't know what's gonna go on with them.
Iconic.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could end it there, Monai. I want to thank you for joining us. We could stick around for a few minutes and talk after, but for now, I must sign out for this podcast. See everybody next week.
See you. Thank you for having me. Have a good one.